The announcement echoed across Terminal C, blending with the rolling suitcases, scattered conversations, and the distant hum of jet engines. Final boarding call for Flight 914 to Vancouver. A young woman hurried across the polished airport floor, her steps sharp and quick. Her name was Madeline Cooper, a 28-year-old who had spent the last 2 years battling exhaustion, disappointment, and the constant fear of never making it out, of the cycle she had been stuck in for so long. Her hair was wind-blown from running through the parking lot, her sweater slightly oversized, the straps of her backpack digging into her shoulder. But she didn't slow down. She couldn't. Not today. This flight was everything. The job waiting for her in Vancouver was more than a job. It was a chance at a stable life, a new beginning. A nonprofit organization had shortlisted her out of hundreds of applicants, working with children with cognitive disabilities. It was her dream. She had worked countless double shifts as a nursing aide in Cleveland to afford this flight. She had skipped meals, sold her old laptop, and borrowed money from 2 friends just to get here. Today was supposed to be her turning point. The gate was in sight. Only a few more steps, only a few more seconds, and then a voice. Not loud, not clear, but trembling, weak. "Someone, help!" Madeline's steps stuttered. Her chest tightened. Something in her heart pulled at her like a string. To her left, near a row of empty seats, an old man had slumped sideways. His cane lay on the ground, his breathing sharp and painful. His hand pressed to his chest. Madeline looked at him, then at the gate, then back at him. Her mind screamed, "Run!" Her heart whispered, "Stay." She closed her eyes for half a second. That was all it took. She turned around and ran, not toward her flight, but toward the old man. She slid onto her knees beside him. "Sir, can you hear me? Stay with me, okay?" His eyes fluttered. His breathing rattled. Madeline instantly went into caregiver mode. Years of experience caring for elderly patients had taught her exactly what signs to look for. She checked his pulse, loosened his shirt collar, lifted his arms slightly to ease his breathing. People passed by. Some stared. Some slowed. But no one stopped. "Please," she called out, "get airport staff." A teenage boy finally rushed to get help. Minutes felt like hours before airport paramedics arrived and took over. The old man's hand shakily gripped Madeline's wrist. "Thank you." She squeezed his hand gently. "You'll be okay. They've got you now." He was taken away, and with him, so was Madeline's future, or so she believed. When the chaos settled, she turned toward Gate 9. Empty, closed. Her flight had taken off exactly 3 minutes ago. She stood frozen, her boarding pass crumpled in her fist, her throat tight. She didn't cry, not yet. She simply walked to the nearest empty chair, sat down, and stared at the ground. Everything she had worked for had vanished in a moment of compassion. But she didn't regret it. A life was more important than her dreams. She had always believed that. Her mother had raised her that way. But the pain of losing her chance sliced deep. Hours later, she drifted through the airport in a daze. Her savings were gone. She didn't have enough left for another ticket or even a motel room. Her stomach grumbled, but she ignored it. As she passed a small cafe, the barista called out, "Excuse me, are you Madeline Cooper?" Madeline turned, confused. "Yes, why?" "You've been asked to go to Gate 2. Someone is waiting for you there." Her heart skipped. Maybe it was airport security? Maybe they found something she dropped? But when she reached Gate 2, 2 sharply dressed men stood waiting, black suits, polished shoes, straight posture. "Ms. Cooper?" one asked. "Yes. Our chairman would like to meet you." "Your chairman?" They didn't answer. They simply gestured toward a private lounge door. Inside, the atmosphere shifted entirely. Dim lights, leather sofas, rich wooden accents, the faint smell of cedar. And sitting there was the old man. Except he didn't look old anymore. He looked powerful, confident, entirely in control of his world. His gray coat had been replaced with a tailored suit. His eyes were sharper now, observant, almost playful. He smiled. "I was wondering when you'd arrive." Madeline blinked. Her voice trembled. You're okay?" "Thanks to you," he replied warmly. She stepped closer. I missed my flight because of..." His hand lifted gently. "I know." "You know?" "I know everything." he said, chuckling. I asked around. She swallowed hard. Who are you? The man extended a steady hand. My name is Richard Ellington, founder and chairman of Northern Skies Airlines. Madeline stared, stunned. She had heard the name before. Everyone had. Northern Skies was one of the top airlines in North America. You own the airline? She whispered. He laughed. Well, I built it. My children run most of it now, but I still wander airports. You learn a lot about the world when you watch people rushing through it. He leaned forward. And today I saw something rare. Someone who chose a stranger's life over her own dreams. Madeline lowered her eyes. Anyone would have helped. He shook his head. No, they wouldn't. A moment of silence stretched between them. Then he picked up his phone, made a call, and said words that made her legs weaken. Reschedule the Vancouver interview for Miss Cooper. I want the board there. I want them to meet her personally. He paused, then added, make sure she's taken care of. Transport, accommodations, everything. Madeline stared at him, stunned. Why? Why are you doing this? Because you reminded me why I built this airline. Not for money, not for business, but for people. His voice softened. The world needs more hearts like yours. 2 weeks later, Madeline walked through Stanley Park in Vancouver, wearing an official ID badge over her blouse. She still couldn't believe it. Not only had she gotten the job, she had been offered a leadership role working on the airline's new community program supporting seniors, vulnerable travelers, and low-income families. Every day felt unreal. Every moment felt like a blessing she hadn't asked for but had somehow earned. Her coworkers praised her. The board admired her. But she never told them the full story, not the media, not her colleagues, not even the people she lived with. Because kindness wasn't meant to be announced. It was meant to be lived. Weeks later, a video surfaced online. Richard Ellington standing beside her, announcing the airline's biggest humanitarian initiative yet. People around the world watched. They smiled. They admired her. But they didn't know the truth. Only you do. Madeline Cooper didn't become a success because she had money or luck. She succeeded because she listened to her heart when it mattered most. Sometimes the path you think you need isn't the one meant for you. Sometimes the moment that feels like a setback is the moment that saves your life. And sometimes the flight you miss becomes the reason you rise higher than you ever imagined.